Hey, what's up? My name is Colby Sharp, and I love learning as an educator. I'm a fifth grade teacher. I just love getting better. It is one of the coolest jobs in the world because there's always more to learn. And one great way to learn is to attend educator conferences. And when you attend an educator conference, it can be overwhelming. There can be a lot going on. They can be kind of stressful. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 7 tips that I try to live by at every event that I go to. 7 things that help me to make the most out of every single second. Whew! Are you ready? Let's go! Tip number 1 is to go hard. I remember growing up, there was a local sports team, and they had like this banner in their locker room or their gym. I can't remember. It said "Go hard or go home." And I feel like if I'm going to be away from home, I need to go hard. So when I am gone and when I'm at a conference, it is not really a relaxing time for me. I try to make every single minute count. So I am just go, 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 go. And I want to make sure that I get everything out of the conference as I possibly can. Now, if that's goal number 1 is to go hard, for me, tip number 2 is to have a plan. I always have a plan. I know before I go to a conference exactly what I'm going to do almost every single minute of the conference. I have everything planned out. I know what sessions I'm going to go to. I know what room they are in. I know what I'm going to do for lunch. I know what I'm going to do for snacks. I know what I'm going to do for sleep. I have a plan, and that plan helps just kind of create an overall way that I'm going to attack the conference. Number 3, so I'm going hard. I have a plan, but number 3 is I am also flexible with that plan. That plan is a guideline. That plan is to make sure that I know where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to do. But if something else comes up, I'm going to be flexible. If I go to a session led by someone and it is amazing, I'm going to see if they're leading anything else. If I meet someone at a session and and I think, man, this person knows a lot, I want to learn more from them, and they're presenting later in the conference, I'm going to go to that. If I go to a great session and we're having an amazing conversation during that session and I'm talking with some people and we just want to keep talking about that, I might skip the next session and grab a cup of coffee and continue that learning with them. So while I have a plan and while every single minute I'm gone is spoken for, I'm also going to be flexible just because I want to make sure that nothing is wasted and that I don't allow new opportunities to be missed. My 4th tip for conference attending is to have a plan for food. So tip number 4 is food. I pack snacks. I have a Cliff Bar in my backpack at all times. I like to try to find string cheese. I like to find something that's quick. I really want to try these new bars called picky bars. I don't know, they just sound interesting. So I always have some sort of snack that can get me some calories very quickly because sometimes you just get hungry and it's hard to go from session to session and you don't always know. You might be in a convention center, you might be in a hotel. It's not always easy to get food. So I always have snacks. And the other part of this is I always try to attend luncheons. So if there is a luncheon at a conference, I almost always sign up because it is so hard to go from a conference room to a restaurant. So much time when I used to go to conferences was wasted trying to find a place to eat, trying to get seated. Everyone from the conference is going at the exact same time. And I found that I ended up missing that session right after lunch. So now, instead of doing that, I not only don't miss a session, but I actually get to learn during lunch at the conference luncheon if there is one. So step 4, tip 4, guideline 4, have a plan for food. You don't want to go hungry. You might have certain dietary needs. You need to make sure you take care of those in advance. But I have found that I am less stressed and more effective when I have a plan for food. Tip number 5, and this is the tip that I struggled with the most when I was an early educator attending conferences. Tip number 5 is to meet someone new. I always want to meet someone new. I always want to meet someone that I'm going to continue to learn from after I leave that conference. When I used to attend conferences as a young teacher, I put in headphones. They had wires at that time, back in the day. But I would put in headphones and I would listen to some music or a podcast from one session to the next, I would keep those in until the speaker started, and then I would take them out and I would take my notes, and then when the session ended, I would put them back in, but not anymore. Now I'm trying to meet new people, I'm trying to sit by new people, I'm trying to introduce myself to new people, because it's the people that make conferences great. Yes, the presenters can be wonderful, but they're gonna go home. They're gonna go back to their state, they're gonna go back to their school, they're gonna go back to their day job. But it's the learning and the connections that you can make within your own organization, whether it's a state reading conference, whether it's a state technology conference or a national conference. You are there with these people because you already have something in common. So take what you have and expand on it and meet new people and form those relationships, exchange email addresses, follow each other on social media. Meeting someone new is one of the most important things you can do at a conference. Number 6, you got to take care of yourself. I like to go hard. I like to use every single minute that I can to be learning, to be growing, to be connecting. If I'm going to be away from my family, I want to make every minute count. But I have found that if I don't take care of myself, by the end of the conference, I am worthless. I cannot tell you how many times I went to NCTE, the National Council for Teachers of English, and I would get there Thursday night and I would leave sometime Sunday, and by the time I woke up Sunday morning, I was done. And that was almost a wasted day. So it just became a travel day, and I didn't get as much learning. I didn't get as much connecting. I didn't get as much growing out of that day as I should have. So now I make sure that I take care of myself. I get at least 5 to 6 hours of sleep. Try to get one night, if it's a multiple night conference, where I get 7. I can usually do 1 or 2 days with 5 or 6 hours while I'm traveling, but I make sure that I get some sleep. I have a plan for sleep. And I run every single day that I'm at a conference. I make sure that I carve out a half hour somewhere, either at the very beginning or after sessions, where I get a 30 minutes to an hour to myself to just run. And you might not be someone who runs, that might not be what you do, but find time for you. Maybe it's meditation, maybe it's just time in your notebook, maybe it's time with a book, but make sure you take a little bit of time for yourself. You're gonna find that you have more energy and you have more just mental capacity to learn and grow and share if you take a little bit of time each day for you. My final tip number 7, is make sure that you have next steps. If you're going to a conference and everything stops when you leave, when you get in your car, when you get on a plane, when you get on a train, when you get on a bus, it probably wasn't worth your time. Have a plan for, it doesn't have to be what you're going to do the next day in class, but where are you going to continue to learn? Who are you going to continue to learn from? What are you going to read next? What are you going to try with your students next? What activity are you going to do yourself to make yourself grow better? What book are you going to read? What can you do? What can you take from this conference and apply it to you continuing to grow? Because if a conference ends when you leave, probably wasn't what you could have got out of that conference. So when you leave your conference, what are you going to be working on? Ask yourself that. What are you going to continue to learn? That's what it takes to become the teacher, the librarian, the educator that you want to be. Have that next step. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful time at the conference. I hope that you continue to learn and grow and become the person that you want to be. Thank you so much for watching this video. It means the world to me. Have an awesome-tastic day and happy, happy reading.